God bless you today, for today is the day the Lord has made. I'm going to read Genesis chapter 34 from the Expository Study Bible, so the notes included. And as always, we ask God in the mighty name of Jesus to please bless us with the revelation of this word so we can grow in the knowledge and grace of Jesus Christ and Him crucified, and also that this word will be hid in our hearts. We want this word hid in our hearts so when situations come up in our life, because they will, instead of cursings and sin coming out of our mouth or out of our thoughts on our mind or in our actions, we can have the word of God spring forth without thought, just like breathing. You don't think about breathing; you just do it. And just like when you rebel, when you curse, when you do things like that, it's without thought. It just comes out of that heart, showing you how much we need Jesus. So we would just want to keep getting into the Word, have a hunger and thirst for the Word, and let it be hid in our hearts. So when situations come up, without thought, that Word of God just springs forth. And we can think, talk, and take action Christ-like. All right, verse 1. And Dinah, the daughter of Leah, which she bore to Jacob, went out to see the daughters of the land. This seems very innocent. However, these daughters led to a companionship with shame. The Christian has to be very careful concerning the world and its ways. Just be like some people think, oh, I have Jesus, so I could just go be with the world, do stuff with the world, and no, you're in the world but not of the world. You're separate from the world. You have there's nothing you and a sinner have anything to do together. Nothing. All right, two. And when Shechem, the son of Hamor, the Hivite, prince of the country, saw her, he took her and lay with her and defiled her. Pulpit says Dinah paid the full penalty of her carelessness. She suffered the fate which Satan had planned for Sarah and Rebekah in the land of Pharaoh and Abimelech. She was seen and taken by the son of the prince, forcibly, it seems, against her will, but yet with the claims of affection by her lover. That's a typical situation, isn't it? Someone with power taking someone by force. And his soul clave unto Dinah, the daughter of Jacob, and he loved the damsel and spoke kindly unto the damsel. Probably refers to marriage. And Shechem spoke unto his father Hamor, saying, give me this damsel as a wife. Marriages were arranged in those days, so Shechem asked his father Hamor to work out the arrangements. And Jacob heard that he had defiled Dinah his daughter. Now his sons were with his cattle in the field, and Jacob held his peace until they were come. And Hamor, the father of Shechem, went unto Jacob to commune with him, supposedly to make arrangements for the marriage. And the sons of Jacob came out of the field when they heard it, and the men were grieved, and they were very angry, because he, Shechem, had wrought folly in Israel in lying with Jacob's daughter, which thing ought not to be done. In this verse, the word Israel is used for the first time to designate Jacob's descendants, which actually became the great nation of Israel. The phrase folly in Israel became a standing expression for acts done against the sacred character which belonged to Israel as a separated and covenanted community as the people of God. And Hamor communed with him, saying, the soul of my son Shechem longs for your daughter. I pray you give him to wife. Special wickedness of Shechem consisted in dishonoring a daughter of one who was the head of the theoretic line, and therefore under peculiar obligations to lead a holy life. And you make marriage with us, and you give us your daughters unto us, and take our daughters unto you. By the act of intermarriage, Satan will compromise and corrupt the sacred lineage. And you shall dwell with us, and the land shall be before you. Dwell and trade you therein, and you get possessions therein. Then resolve this plan, as fomented by Satan, was to ultimately stop the incarnation. The lineage must be kept pure. And Shechem said unto her father and unto her brethren, let me find grace in your eyes, and what you shall say unto me I will give. In essence, Shechem was saying that whatever they asked as far as monetary value was concerning, he would pay it. Ask me never so much dowry and gift, and I will give according as you shall say unto me, but give me the damsel to wife. And the sons of Jacob answered Shechem and Hamor his father deceitfully, and said, because he have defiled Dinah their sister, the sons of Jacob practiced deceit in the situation in which Jacob had no part therein. However, God no more overlooks deceit in his own than he does in those outside the covenant. And they, the brothers of Dinah, said unto them, Shechem and those with him, we cannot do this thing to give our sister to one who is uncircumcised, for they will reproach unto us. But in this will we consent unto you, if you will be as we be, that every male of you be circumcised. Then will I give your daughters unto you, and you will take your daughters unto us, and we will dwell with you, and we will become one people. The sons of Jacob now are beginning to show the traits which ultimately led to the desire to murder Joseph. But if you will not hearken unto us to be circumcised, then we will take our daughters, and we will be gone. So, what do we see here? We see something very typical. They think that as long as you did something like get circumcised, then you were good. You were going to be with God. You would be God's people. And that's all it was. Just get circumcised, and you're all good. You're one of us now. Well, it's pretty obvious that the sons were not readers of the word of Almighty God, and didn't do much praying at all, if any. Because had they did that, they would have known that the simple act of getting circumcised physically would not make them a child of Israel. So, it's a circumcision of the heart that gets it done. Before Jesus came, you would, with your heart, surrender yourself to God and loved Him, served Him. And when Jesus came, then that would be Jesus. So, but this is a typical thing. And the words pleased Hamor and Shechem, Hamor's son, and the young man deferred not to do the thing, did not want to put it off, because he had delight in Jacob's daughter, and he was more honorable than all the house of his father. In other words, Shechem was sincere. So, he wanted this daughter, and most likely, he probably couldn't even tell you why he wanted her so bad. If they were to ask him, probably couldn't even tell you. But that was the devil. The devil was leading him, feeding him this desire, and he was just going with it. And Hamor and Shechem and his son came into the gate of their city and communed with the men of their city, saying, presented their proposal to them. These men are peaceable with us. Therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein, for the land, behold, is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Look at the land of Israel today. Look at the enemies of God moving into the land of Israel. They've taken so much land from Israel due to Israel's rejection of Jesus Christ. And so this still goes on today. Jacob's sons were of the Semitic stock, and therefore possessed of high physical and mental endowments. And as they were rich in cattle and other wealth, their incorporation with the people of Shechem, or so they reasoned, would raise it to a high rank. So they agreed to Hamor's proposal. So always looking to advance on earth through riches, through the things of this earth. See, that's where you go wrong. When you start thinking about how you can become rich or more richer, when you start thinking about the things of this world, and then you start to plan, scheme, reason with yourself, and then you just go down a path that's going to lead you to destruction. Only herein will the men, Jacob's clan, consent us unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they were circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours? Only let us consent unto them, and they will dwell with us. We find here that Hamor is practicing deceit as well. This was not the idea of Shechem, and he being more honorable than his father, but it was the idea of his father and the other men of this city. So everyone's trying to get something out of this, trying to get earthly pleasures and treasures from this. And unto Hamor and unto Shechem his son hearkened on all who went out of the gate of the city, and every male was circumcised all who went out of the gate of the city. If in that Hamor agreed so readily, we must come to the conclusion that circumcision was something that, not unknown to them, and as well, something that they regard as a small price to pay for what they believe they would receive. So what we have to remember here is that the people on the outside, they looked at the people of God, and hey, they didn't have to serve God. They didn't even have to necessarily believe too much, if at all. But the one thing they did see, they seen these people blessed. They seen it with their own eyes. They knew it. So they thought to themselves, there must be something to it. These people they're wealthy, they're blessed, they have favor. There must be something to it. We want some of that. And so, how can we get into that? How can we join in? Now, obviously, could they have prayed to God, repented of their sins, and served Him? Yes, but would they have been Israelite? No, because they wouldn't have been. They would have been a Gentile. So, but that's not the case. They weren't there for spiritual things. They were there for earthly things. Once again, decline, reject the spiritual, and you're a fool. Period. And it came to pass on the third day, when they were sore, that two of his sons, Jacob, Simeon, and Levi, Dinah's brothers, took each man his sword and came upon the city boldly and killed all the men. There is nothing that would justify what these men did. Well, there it is. And they killed Hamor and Shechem, his son, with the edge of the sword, and took Dinah out of Shechem's house and went out. The sons of Jacob came upon the slain and spoiled the city because they had defiled their sister. In fact, the annals of uncivilized warfare scarcely record a more atrocious crime. They took their sheep and their oxen and their asses, and which was in the city, and that which is in the field, and all their wealth and all the little ones and their wives took they captive, and spoiled even all that was in the house. And we must understand, this was the church of that day. Hey, no one has spilt more blood than religion. That's why in the book of Revelation, the harlot, who is she? She's religion, drunk off the blood of saints. No one has killed more than those of religion. No one. Religion is murderous. Because what is religion? It's man-made. What is it? It's all about money, power, and sex. And if you don't do it their way, you must die. And Jacob said to Simeon and Levi, you have troubled me to make me to stink among the inhabitants of the land. Said he made them stink among the Canaanites and the Perizzites, and I begin few in number. They shall gather themselves together against me and kill me. And I shall be destroyed, I and my house. Jacob rarely sees the hand of Satan in all this, and before the protection of the Lord, he was right. And they said, should he deal with our sister as with an harlot? So, I will just stop right there. You imagine your sister gets raped, and now he wants to marry her. You would be angry. But in that situation, you can turn to the Lord, or you can turn to self. If you turn to self, well, who do you think you are? You're going to go right off into sin. And that's just what they did. Murderous sin. They went to go murder all of them and take their stuff. So that's what the flesh will do. That's why God hates the flesh, rejects the flesh, will never, ever accept the flesh. God will never, ever accept anything from your flesh because it's no good, it's evil. Period. All right. God bless you.